Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flaws, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause of sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
The day I met Bullhorn Betty and Jonathan Lee Ridges, they were protesting in front of the Laundrie's home. I began to document them, and little did I know, the three of us would spend the next few months traveling together. Nothing scares us, even if it means crossing a freezing cold river and getting wet. We put our lives in danger because we want to find answers. It gives us purpose, even if it means going undercover to get those answers, or visiting the scene of a crime and paying our respects. Searching for the truth isn't easy. It gets you out of your comfort zone and makes you see things in a different perspective. And it's this perspective that we want the world to see. At the end of the day, we fight for justice. We fight for those who don't have a voice. We fight for those who were silenced. Our next case, we search for Paula Miranda. She was last seen swimming in this river. Here's our Paula's family. Found 2 footprints they believe belonged to her. She left her phone and keys in her car. Her sister tells us that's extremely unusual for her to do that. Stay tuned as we venture deep into Wekiwa Springs State Park to help find her.
See, I don't know about y'all, but like for real, I don't mind being talked about. My problem come in when they start making stuff up. So you can talk about me all you want. It is what it is. You know, it's either I did it or I didn't. I said it or I didn't. Whatever the case is, I don't care. I let whoever think whatever, feel whatever. That's on them. You know what I'm saying? But it's the making up part. It's the lying part. It's the adding on to part that always get me. I don't mind being talked about. It's when y'all start lying that bothers me.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
You guys are doing amazing today. It's just another day. We're going over some more Kiely Rodni stuff. Some, weird stuff happened. Well, everybody knows that this evidence and everything has washed ashore, and with Click It TV and everything else like that. There's been a lot of speculation. One, is this stuff hers and all this other stuff? I have to believe that it is. This was a very... The stickers, it's almost like tattoos on a body, so to speak. There's stickers in specific spots on this computer that make it very identifiable, so to speak. So we're really not covering what we already know here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. That'd be kind of stupid, right? So we know that this evidence washed ashore. We know this. I think that the kind of angle that we're going to be discussing, and I'm going to open it up, that links up there at the top. Not right now. I'll let you guys know when we're ready. But we're hearing in the newspaper, in the Reno Gazette, right? We're learning in the Reno Gazette that law enforcement has confirmed that there is parallel investigation. So we've got the California Highway Patrol doing their investigation, and then we've got the detectives at Nevada County doing a parallel investigation into this. We watched, I don't know, how many of you guys watched the celebration of life for Kiely yesterday? Put a 1 in a chat if you guys have watched it or attended in person. And let me know if anybody in here has attended that memorial or that celebration of life in person. I'd like to know that as well. Because for me, okay, so there are quite a few. Looks like. I'm just waiting for it to come up. Okay. Well, I'm not going to play it on here because that's somebody else's work and it's new. And so I can't remember whose channel that was on, but I'm sure you can Google it or go to YouTube and just type in Kiely's Celebration of Life and, see it. So it was really pretty. It was really pretty. The angle that we had was a little further back, but I mean, I understand the reasoning. They just, the people that were recording wanted to stay, away from the family, give them their privacy, but it was in a public location. So they didn't do anything wrong or anything like that. And it looked like everybody was trying to be very much respectful of the people that were attending, which was nice to see everybody kind of working together on that aspect of it. But I posted in YouTube, I asked, what are your comments on her response? I'm curious to find out what your comments are, because for whatever reason, I don't know if it was the way I uploaded it or whatever, but I can't seem to get the comments to turn on it. So you guys didn't have an opportunity to comment. I may just put another post up there that just says, what do you think of Kiely's mom's, comments at her celebration of life? So you guys can comment without the video or the link attached to it. That might be something related to that. I don't know. But we're not going to be talking about the laptop and the items that washed up on shore today. We're actually going to talk about what value do they have, right? Because we don't know what happened to Kiely. What we know is Kiely went to a party that had a large gathering. There was a lot of alcohol and a lot of other substances at this party, and she never made it home. After the search, the missing person report was filed, after the search was going on, we learned new information. We learned that she was at a Truckee store, convenience store, in different clothes that she was described to have been wearing that night. We learned that she texted her mother at 11:30. We learned from one of the girls there, her name's Sammy Smith, that she called her at 12:36 in the morning. We learned that Kiely's phone last pinged at 12:33 in the morning. We learned a lot that just didn't make sense. And so we were all hopeful to find her, because at this point in time, nobody knew where she was. She just disappeared. Nobody saw her leave the campground. This caused major speculation when Adventures with Purpose released their video. All hell broke loose on the streets of YouTube. All hell broke loose with anybody following this case. And then this Check It TV, this no-name creator that none of us even heard about, just pops up out of the blue out there and sees her belongings literally at the bottom of this lake where she was recovered, leaving many of us scratching our heads saying, wait a minute, she was found in the back hatch. People that have been recovering vehicles for a little minute here are saying that this really stinks to high heaven, foul play, everything. Like they were very loud about their position when they found that the condition of this car. I mean, they couldn't help it. I mean, we saw Nick come up. I mean, he was pale. I mean, something wasn't right. He knew when he came out of that water, something wasn't right. So we expected law enforcement to really just do an awesome job. They just had egg on their face because they had 20,000 hours, multiple agencies in Prosser looking for her specifically looking for her vehicle, and nothing. And Doug and all of them at Adventures with Purpose, if you go back and watch their videos, they teach you how to read these sonars. So, at first when I looked at it, the first time I watched their video, I'm like, what am I looking at? Like, there's all these colors on the screen, and what am I looking at? Like, I had no clue. I'm looking at this stuff and I'm like, you're expecting it, when they come by it to look like a car. Like, you actually are looking at this and you're looking for, a model car turned upside down with little wheels on it. Like, you're not looking at blobs and blurs and, like stick figure stuff. And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at like, oh yeah, that's man-made. And I'm having to rewind it and fast forward. And I'm looking at the screen. I'm like, what in the world are they looking at? What in the world? But once you got it, once you saw it, once you realize what they're looking at, it's like, this is noticeable. How could somebody miss this? So we're all just sitting here, but you know what? They're not using the equipment. Adventures with Purpose came out and vouched that, they have a special skill set. They work with this equipment all the time. It just might have been a little, education. It might be this, might be that. We don't know. It just, we gave them a free pass. At least they did what they were supposed to do. They realized they were hitting a brick wall, and they wanted to make sure that they found her. So they brought in, they utilized every resource at their disposal. So kudos to them, right? Okay. Then we have this no-name Check It TV that is just came here, and he went out there and looked at it. And, and people are like beating him up because he had like basically overnight success. And he will, he's in one area. This is a big case. Naturally, he's going to get attention when you're out at the scene. Did he do a service? Absolutely. I actually did a whole live on this about, leave it to law enforcement. Like, law enforcement now has 0 and YouTube has 2. Like, it should be the opposite. It should be the opposite. But it was horrific to watch these things that have evidentiary value, because again, we don't know what happened to her. She could have been murdered and put in the back of that car, and we're watching investigators handling that car with no gloves. We're watching them leave evidence at the bottom of a lake. Like, we don't know what happened to her, but we can all agree that it seems quite odd that she went from the front seat, past 2 open windows, all the way to the very back of her car, and potentially may have strapped herself in. Like, am I losing people here? Who believes that that some of the things recovered from the bottom of that lake have evidentiary value? Whether it was an accident or whether something more sinister. Wouldn't a few things at the bottom of that lake help determine that? So anyways, guys, thank you. Anyways, guys, go ahead. I've got the link at the top. I'm sorry this is not streaming on our Facebook groups. There was some issue this morning. So one of the mods might have to paste this over in the Facebook group because it's not streaming live. Thank you guys. So now the question comes in, and this is the question I want you guys to come and talk to me about. And that is, do you feel that this was treated as a crime scene? I'm interested in your response. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link into the chat room again. But again, like I said, I'm looking for, it's at the top as well, but I'm looking, what do you think about this? We're not going to talk about the items recovered because I think many creators have already done that. But what kind of evidentiary value does computers have? And, I'm reading through the evidentiary, digital evidence and forensics, just to try to get myself up to snuff, on all of this, because, I come from a legal background. Many of you guys know I graduated with a 3.67 GPA, top of my class, top 2%, graduating in top 2%, and received an AA in paralegal studies, and went on to work for attorneys for many years. So I understand, I was in civil matters, predominantly. I wasn't really into criminal stuff. So, digital evidence we used for our civil discord in the courtrooms. And so I have to think that this digital evidence and forensics is like definitely needed in criminal cases. And this could very well be one or the other. I'm team foul play. So I personally believe that any tidbit of evidence should have been collected. But let's just understand what computers are used for committing crimes. We don't know if a crime was committed on the computer, but we don't know what her computer holds. I mean, she could have taken a picture on her phone that's transferred over to her computer that was literally the last photo that she snapped that night. That to me is huge. That to me, she might have somebody in that photo that might be attacking her. Who knows? They left it at the bottom of the lake. Digital forensic is information stored or transmitted in a binary form that may be relied on in court. It can be found on a computer's hard drive, a mobile phone, among other places. Digital evidence is commonly associated with electronic crimes or e-crimes, such as, child stuff, credit card fraud. However, digital evidence is now used to prosecute all types of crimes, not just e-crimes. For example, suspects' emails or mobile files may contain critical evidence regarding their intent, their whereabouts at the time of the crime, and their relationship with other suspects. And they left it at the bottom of the lake. Crying Pavin, can you show me your face and then I'll pull you forward? Thank you. You can go ahead and click your... Okay, perfect.
Dolly, sorry.
Hi.
You started late today and I'm just waking up.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's Sunday.
I tried to send you an email. I love you, by the way, but I've actually been volunteering with the Find Me group. I tried to email you directly, but I couldn't find your email. So I sent you and Dolly and Olivia and Zab one of the videos that you guys have been talking about a few days ago. But I just wanted to say how much you inspire me. I was going to start my channel a few years ago, and I ended up having to solve my own case with my dad. But I'm going to start my channel, and I wanted to know, because we work with the Find Me group, and this is a retired federal agent who's been working on solving missing people for 20 years. We have body language experts, astrologers, and forensics people. And he, of course, was a detective for years. Would you be interested in having me with me, accompany me, having him, if he'll come on, talk to some of these legal issues?
I've actually reached out to a couple things. Another one of our audience suggested a underwater investigator, and I actually reached out to him, and he looks, we're working on it now. So I am planning on bringing experts on this channel to discuss these things. So if you can help facilitate that, I'm happy to have you on as a co-host.
Okay. Yeah. And likewise, because I'm going to launch my channel. I'm looking to support everybody and hopefully get some support my way as well. Sure. I was going to write a book because we've solved hundreds of cases. And I was going to write a book a couple years ago, but I ended up having to do this thing with my dad. But just so, what's your email? It's
really easy. It's bullhornbetty@gmail.com.
Well, that's as easy as it gets. Okay. So can I ask you a couple of questions with this case? Because
sure. Floor yours. Ask away.
Okay. When does anybody know when her mom listed their property for sale?
No, but I know it was before, and we're getting into that. Yeah. But I know it was before all of this happened, but people were questioning why she was doing it. I naturally thought maybe it's because her daughter was going to medical school and she wanted to move closer to wherever her daughter was. But I don't know. They could be, for all I know, they could have financial problems. I haven't looked into them that much.
I just wonder if there's more going on. Did you hear Mom's speech yesterday? I was jaw smacked upset.
I did. And I don't know quite how I feel about it. I even put it out on my community tab. But the problem is the comments were disabled. I don't know if I accidentally did that when I uploaded it or if there's a glitch in the system. So I have to redo it because I'm curious as to, let me ask the chat. How many of you guys watched, I might have already asked this, but things are it's Sunday and Bullhorn Betty's going on no sleep. So
you're on it always, Betty.
Yeah. So how many people listened to the mother's response at her daughter? She went to the news outlets and had a paper and she was reading off of it. And she was making her statement for her daughter. Well, how does I don't want to tell people my opinion about this because I don't want to sway their opinion. So I want to know if, one, people watched it. If you watched it, please press a 1 in the chat. So how did you feel about that statement? I mean, I was a little taken back by it.
True. And I was disappointed.
Very.
Because I'm wondering, and I'm just speculation, warning, if she's worried Dad's going to sue her because they're divorced for negligence. And because it's just bizarre how she's attacking. They would never have found, if it wasn't for social media, her child wouldn't have been found. I don't understand it.
Yeah. I don't understand how you can praise the kids that were out there and left your daughter in that condition. Meanwhile, condemning the people that actually went out there, took their time, their resources to find your kid. And I was going to say I was going to hold back until people had now.
Sorry.
I can't help it. And I'm just I thought, you know what, here, let me read you I sent this to a friend of mine. I sent this to a friend of mine yesterday, and this is my comment to it. And this is not to be disrespectful to anyone, even though, I felt, but I digress here. Let me just read. I said, she sounds so ungrateful, just saying, this is Kiely's mom, and I hyperlinked it. That was the comments I made.
It's not normal. I know we all grieve differently, and I understand the reason I just created my channel last night because I was I was going to do this 2 years ago. I ended up solving my dad's crime. He's got dementia. if 700 emails to police, like I got to Florida. I'm Canadian, and they had read him his last rites in the hospital. They stole his laptop, no money. Like, it's been 2 years at heck on wheels. And so I put this on the back burner. So I just created my channel name yesterday because I'm an outdoorsy girl. So I understand their style of living. But the minute I finished my channel, I see her video. I'm like, we have a moral responsibility. I get that. But we also have an obligation. All of us have the right, Canadian, American, worldwide, to justice, to transparency. So
not only that, but let's pull it back to just a little bit further. Like, we're the taxpayers here, lady.
Yeah.
We just funded 20,000 hours of searching for your daughter to be spit in our face.
I know, and it's like, I don't understand. If it wasn't for social media, I don't even know if they would have found her. And now they're saying
Adventures with Purpose would have never been out there. That car would still be at the lake right now. That celebration of life, she would still be sitting in her home wanting to know what happened to her daughter. She's
claiming like it's affecting the kids. And then Zav last night, I don't know if you saw Zav's feed. She brought evidence in from some girl that went to school with Kiely, and a guy rather, I'm sorry, who was contacting Meg, and Meg did a snapshot, and she was in bed, and Jagger was getting out of bed with her.
No, it was Kate. It wasn't. Oh, it was
Meg. Kate. I'm sorry, Kate. Yeah, like, that's bizarre.
Yeah, he reached out to me too. I've been in contact with that person as well. I see my opinions. Awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and bring my opinions up here too. So what are you thinking about all this? I see my opinions.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, so what do I think of all this? I think that the bashing of the family and the mom right now.
You just went away. You're away from your microphone.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I have bad service here in the mountains. I think people bashing the mom for her statement before the celebration of life is wrong. I think people grieve differently. This is an open case. Mm-hmm. I think what she is referring to about the YouTubers is all the speculations of these minor children when we don't really know what's happening. And it's not the responsibility or our business to know exactly what's going on in this open case with minors involved.
I disagree a little bit with that statement because we have a constitution, we have, rights, we have, rights as press granted, they do need to keep the integrity of the investigation closed, but this is a great public concern. And so with that being said, I respectfully, I respect everything you say. And I agree, especially with the kids. I've said that on this channel as well. But I, as far as we don't have a right to know, I absolutely respectfully disagree. That's the whole purpose of the press. That's the whole purpose of our constitutional rights to press.
But you're not really the press, and it's a private.
That's not true. I'm credentialed. I have press credentials and everything.
I get that, Betty. I get you.
I don't think anybody like there. If I could just interject, just as because I'm not, I just created my channel yesterday and I've been watching, and there's good and bad in every industry. And I don't think for the majority of YouTubers, anybody's intending to be disrespectful. Yeah. And so I hear what you're saying. And that's why I was a bit perplexed last night, because I'm literally just created my thumbnail and my YouTube channel. And then I hear this and I'm like, debating, the ethics. Like, we do have a moral responsibility. I understand that, but so do the police to be forthcoming and collect the evidence. They have a duty of care, and they're flubbing up. And just like the Gabby Petito case, if it wasn't for the YouTubers and the social media community, that case never would have been resolved. And so what I think is happening, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to her mother, and I absolutely hear her pain, but I think what's happening is the world's changing. And we're recognizing the power of the people, and the power of a collective community to search for the truth has unraveled details that the police themselves are too overwhelmed, understaffed, exhausted to be able to cope with.
Underfunded.
What's that?
Underfunded.
Underfunded. And so I think it's a beautiful thing. If I can just flip the coin, I hear what you're saying and I respect, it's her daughter. I understand that. But I don't think for the most part, people are trying to do anything maliciously other than uncover the truth and seek justice. And, I think that's an honorable thing that communities of people on social media, instead of attacking each other, are coming together for the greater good. And, I respect what you're saying and I respect what the mom's saying, but it just seems that the community that helped solve her daughter's crime by locating the body should be,
She gave not one thank you to
no, she came out and said
You
the mind their own
guys-
business.
She thanked
You
the
guys,
kids for all their work.
Do you understand? A lot of these YouTubers are saying her daughter was fake and did not exist.
Those have been, I think those,
understand?
there was a, I know who you're talking about, and I've had him on my show, and I questioned him, and I respectfully questioned him about the statements that were, pretty bold. And I did it respectfully, but I never said that. I've always believed Kiely was real. And I think that was done it was more, I don't think he actually believed that she wasn't real, as opposed to him wanting to find more information, which he was able to do.
Well, he has said that several times, and it's very disrespectful. And I'm sorry, but the woman who drove 8 hours to come and stream a very emotional ceremony, that was wrong, because even in the comments, people, they were upset that the stream was actually being shared. So if she really cared about the ceremony and was there to actually share it with everybody, there wouldn't have been those types of comments made. I was actually at the ceremony to give my respect. I did not take one picture, one video, because that's not what it was about.
I agree with you to a certain extent. I don't know if they got permission or if they
did
were local.
not.
It's a public place. They didn't have to have permission.
No, but it's not about having permission. It's about having boundaries and respect for a community.
As long as they're confining with the law that's in that county
Okay, I'm just saying though. I mean, people should have boundaries and be a little more respectful. This is a minor child.
Can I just ask you why you're on here then?
Just to try to straighten up some of the bullshit that I see in the comments about how her mom didn't grieve good enough for everyone, how you didn't see her cry in her news statement. That was
who said that?
And not only that, but you realize that on YouTube we have things that are called trolls that come in and gaslight people to incite emotion and frustration.
I won't name names, but I've seen people with wrenches. Maybe not necessarily in your chat right now.
Okay, well, then let's keep what's going on in my chat.
Creators. No, I'm happy to be in your chat right now.
I'm saying, but let's, I mean, if you're going to, I just don't want my people in my chat to be brought into somebody else's chat.
Okay, well, some of your people are still, I'm looking at comments and the mom's weird. She didn't grieve good enough.
So people aren't allowed to have their opinion because they might be.
You can't control everything. No. What you're saying is kind of a contradiction, because you want to criticize people for condemning the mom for saying or not saying what is appropriate in their opinion, but now you're condemning people for their own free speech.
Right.
You can't have it both ways. You can't control what people think or feel. All we're commenting on is it just is a bit disappointing that the mom seems to have resolved herself, that there's not going to be truth here, that the police are going to wipe their hands of this. They didn't even collect her personal belongings, which is very disrespectful.
I would be stressed if I was in your community. And that law enforcement, like if this was your child and they just left valuable evidence at the bottom of a lake, I mean, I would think that you would be highly upset.
How do you know she's not?
I'm not saying, but I'm saying that you're condemning people on here. I don't know what she's feeling. I to be honest with you, this is an entertainment channel where I cover true crime. I cover aspect of everything. And trust me, I step on toes and upset people every single day in my job. That's it. This is YouTube. I'm Bullhorn Betty. That's kind of.
And so all these people asking though in your chat, why didn't she cry? She did cry. She almost didn't go up at the end.
why are you so invested in what other people's opinions of her are if you know that
Because
her
isn't
heart
this
is
what
not-
it's all about, to have a discussion and have an opinion?
Yeah.
And I'm strictly giving you guys my opinion because I live there.
Mhm.
I was there. I didn't
I'd be
go there
highly
for
disappointed.
clicks and
That's
views. I went there for the family, for the
and
community.
kudos to
and for
you.
Kiely.
Kudos to you. You're wanting your will to be spread upon everybody else. We're all different people. You know, I would have handled my business a lot different than the person that was recording because I wouldn't have been that far away. I mean, to be honest with you, I would be up in there. I would want to get people's comments on how this has affected them in their community. I would be working, you know, in whether that is offensive to somebody or not. That's my job. I can't think of feelings when I'm doing my job.
Okay, well, that is why she had asked for the, the news reporters and everybody to not record the entire thing. They will put it out on their channel when they are ready for everyone to see what the beautiful celebration they
And the
recorded.
best way to do that is to rent a private facility so you can control what happens.
Do you think that's what she meant?
You know, so when you're in a public place, you lose control of what can and can happen.
I understand that, but I'm just saying.
Randy, I'm going to go ahead and kill you forward if you want to
obligation.
kill your.
My opinion, do you think that's what she meant in her speech, is that she didn't want people recording it, or is she talking to the community in general? Because she said, we got this, like, stop uncovering more stones. That's
no, it's not about uncovering more stones.
Mhm.
It's about the stones being thrown at all the miners and making speculations.
Right.
That may.
What does she think happened to her daughter? I mean, she was found in the back of the hatch of her car.
I can't comment on what she thinks. I'm not in her mind, but I know what I would think.
But you're also on here saying that you're telling us how. Hold on, but you did come up here just to, and I don't want to be disrespectful. You know, it's not my intent. But you did come up here advocating for her and speaking on her behalf. So
I'm speaking on the behalf of Kiely right now.
Mm-hmm. Did
Kiely's
you know
the victim here? Kiely is it's a tragic victim. Kiely is the victim here. No, I did not know her personally.
How does it make you feel that law enforcement just left her belongings at the bottom?
It upsets me, as I'm sure it upsets the entire community and her family. Mm-hmm. But they're trying to grieve right now and lay their beautiful daughter to rest. And this was not the time at her ceremony for people to be
jump on social media. Then if they don't like it, they have free will to watch or not watch.
And obviously they don't watch, but it's very hurtful. These children see what's going on, what is being said about them, about their friend, about all of it.
Now, what if we find out one of these kids were responsible for the condition of Kiely?
Well, then those kids better be arrested.
Okay,
and
so we're talking
this is an ongoing situation.
Sometimes it takes speculation and investigation to get to the bottom of the case. So
that I get, but these are minor children that people are speculating.
Well, actually, they're adults. But this case has to do with minors and adults.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's not social media's fault.
Yeah,
it's not. And it was kind of a slap in the face to the social media world with what the mother said. It's not that we don't understand what she's going through and we don't sympathize for her, but social media brought all this attention to this case to try to get to the bottom of what happened to her daughter, and to try and cut social media out is wrong. When social media
cut us out, condemn us.
Yes, absolutely.
Condemn us. I mean, it wasn't cutting us out; it was slap condemning every YouTuber that came out to try to help, because she painted with a broad brush. She didn't say specificity. She painted us all YouTubers with a broad brush, when it was YouTubers that found her daughter. It was YouTubers that found the evidence. It was YouTubers that are keeping law enforcement in check at this moment because they look like that it's amateur hour over in Nevada County. I mean, in my opinion,
absolutely.
I mean,
You
that's
know, I'd be willing to bet if it
where the
wasn't for
outrage
social
is
media,
coming
justice would
from.
never be served in this case if it wasn't for the eyeballs on the case.
Right.
So
Exactly.
even now, I doubt
Hold on,
what's
guys.
going
Hold on. Let's not beat up on. This is just a debate and a conversation.
Oh, absolutely.
There has been
we
so
bring
much.
the level down just a little bit. We're just having a conversation.
Are you talking
Not like, you know, she has a valid opinion, and we respect the other side. We need to have a balanced debate on this. We can't.
Okay, well, there has been so much disinformation. Didn't you make a video about, oh, this certain guy was her boyfriend and he is now arrested? Do you have 100% proof that that was actually one of her boyfriends that was arrested?
You must have read the title and didn't watch the whole video. We very much clear.
Okay, it's those misleading titles. It's that misleading.
It doesn't matter. That's my choice to do. So let me
this
just.
is the type of stuff she's talking about. People are making accusations and misinformation.
I didn't make false accusations. Hold on. Time out. First of all, everything that was said in that whole thing was absolutely correct. There was a Nate Kabakunga that was arrested for the murder of a 15-year-old girl for substances. That whole entire show was absolutely 100% factual. If you didn't like the title, I'm sorry about that. But again.
But then you were showing pictures saying this is the one that Kiely was dating.
I said potentially.
Okay, well, those are potential rumors that could not possibly be true.
Well, that is what I do here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. It is a suggestion, a respectful suggestion. Maybe this is too intense for you to watch. Maybe this is not the chat room or the show that you should be focusing on. I am uncovering a lot and will continue to uncover a lot. I step on toes. People don't, there's nothing I can do. I do my job. I do it thoroughly. I do it well. And if it upsets people, it upsets people. I don't have time to walk on eggshells with these types of cases because there's real victims here. And if mom wants to give the kids a free pass, that's fine. I don't care. I can guarantee dad is probably going to be the one standing up and fighting for his daughter. I'm sorry, but that's my opinion, which I'm entitled to on my own show, in my own house.
That's true. All I'm saying is there's so much slander and lies going around with all these minor children and being just barely.
But how do you know what's lies and slander?
First of all, Sammy is not a minor. Jagger is not a minor. He just went to jail for a DUI as an adult. Like, you're saying they're not minors.
Barely 18 years old. They're still children in their mind.
Doesn't matter in the eyes of the law. They can go.
I get
Betty,
that,
can I ask a question?
I call them kids myself on this show because they're young, but they're not.
Can I ask a question, Betty?
Yes, ma'am.
What my opinion's only, and I say this with respect. I do hear you. I really do.
Yeah.
But why do you feel that the things that are being said are slanderous and lies? Do you have inside information into the case?
Because they could very well be responsible for this, and people are shaming us for even talking about it.
Like, do you have inside knowledge that makes you feel that way? Like, you don't have to tell us what that is.
I will stay silent on that. How about that?
Okay,
anyways, I'm going to step down. Thanks for allowing me up, Betty.
That was a little intense, my opinions, but thank you for coming on. You were a great sport. You kept your cool. I appreciate it.
So the only reason I came up is because you said, was anybody at the celebration? And I came up to tell you I was at the celebration, and I can tell you there was not a dry tear at that ceremony.
That girl that spoke and just broke down while she's speaking. I'm telling you, I didn't feel like when you're at a live event, you get a whole different vibe and feeling, and just you internalize it more than watching it, say, through a screen. So I wasn't feeling the vibe there watching it, but boy, when that girl got on there and started talking and she started breaking down, Bullhorn Betty just had full flood. I was done. I was toast.
All I'm trying to say is, this was the day they were trying to celebrate the beautiful life of their daughter, their friend, the daughter of the whole community. It's a very small community, and the judgments that people say, I suggest you guys that are all studying this case, get out an actual map and check out the the county boundary lines to understand how big of a county Placer County is and how far it goes from over the mountain down into the valley and the foothills, it will give you a better perspective of how small Truckee is and what a very small portion of Placer County sheriffs are actually up there in that area full time. I'm not trying to say that they did a good job, because there was lots of fuck ups. Trust me.
I think we can all agree with that.
Lots of fuck ups. And the guy that found the laptop, he only retrieved the information to give back to the family. Obviously, people freaking out and, oh, he touched evidence. It's a crime scene. The crime scene has been released weeks ago.
I agree with you 100%.
Many people have been in that area. Many civilians, many people have been camping there. Anyone could have picked up that laptop, all that stuff. He wanted it returned to the family. They have probably already gotten the information off of that, because she probably had another type of a iCloud, iTunes, iPhone type thing that they were able to grasp the stuff off of, besides a phone and just that one computer. But I'm just saying, give the family a little bit of grace. The people that are condemning and criticizing the way she talks, the way she didn't or did cry, that kind of stuff. It's just heartbreaking. It was all this.
But in all fairness, she did kind of, insult a very large group of people. I mean, people are going to be most likely rubbed the wrong way with those comments, especially the many hours that we poured into this to try to help locate Kiely, and all of us trying to do our part to bring exposure to Kiely's story and stuff like that. Like, there's going to be, I understand her point, but at the end of the, she kind of smacked us all in the face, and
I would too if I'm hearing that my child didn't exist.
But that's one creator out of millions.
You can't.
And she just insulted the millions over one person. You see what I'm saying?
The bathwater.
I didn't do anything wrong. I'm a YouTuber.
The woman that drove 8 hours to stream, that didn't even have the decency to stay till the end of the ceremony, had to get up and leave, and
that was her choice to do in a public place. You are condemning somebody for doing everything lawfully and above board.
No, she was wrong to record it, and then for their channel to be pissed off
that others
were sharing it and then wanting to report the channels that were sharing the celebration. She obviously didn't do it for the right reasons.
That's your opinion.
Yeah, it is, because I was there.
Right. That's just this one person's opinion. I have a completely different opinion.
That's why my name is My Opinions Only.
People in here that, might be 50-50 on this conversation. Sunflower, I'm going to go ahead and pull you forward.
Well, anyways, I just want to say thanks for letting me up, Betty, because we don't get along, and
I know.
I don't approve of a lot of stuff that you say or do.
I'm a controversial woman. What can I say? But
yeah, you are. Anyways, I just want to say, if you guys have not been to the area, you don't know the topographics of the area and all that kind of stuff, you don't understand why there's 2 counties involved, small town, etc. Have a beautiful day, and just try to be more kind people in the comments, because you don't know how you'd react if it was your child. So that's all.
All right. Thank you so much.
Comments. Peace out.
Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. God bless. Well, Sunflower Beth, how are you doing?
Good morning. I owe you an apology because I did not call you yesterday. I was busy with my own team. I had promised you on another show, though, I was going to watch and call you. I did watch, but I had to break and couldn't call you. I saw a lot of the ceremony. I don't know what it's called yesterday. I saw a bit of the mom, so I didn't see the whole thing that y'all are talking about. I just wanted to show my face off the jump. My big thing is, I guess there were disparaging comments made against the YouTube community and for law enforcement. Is that what we're saying?
Well, not that. Like she's basically giving the kids and law enforcement kudos and shame on the YouTube community.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Let me say first, the first thing that was disturbing to me, opinions. was that I had watched it for a very long time, and I had to watch it at that 1.5 speed to kind of, get through. And the one that I was watching actually left because it started to rain. That's why I think that one of the followers left. But anyway, I watched it for a very long time before I even heard Kiely's name. I watched it for a very long time before I even heard anybody say, "Bless Kiely." Nobody. And then I got busy with my teen, so I didn't see what y'all are talking about. I guess I jumped on here really quick to say that without YouTube, we wouldn't know where Kiely was.
Yeah.
Without YouTube, we would not know the topography. I just did science with my child last year. I can almost bet that after YouTube and all the flyovers and whatever they're called, we might know more about the topography than the locals because of all the videos we've watched and all the, meaning we've seen people walking it, we've seen people flying over it. So we know a lot of we know how steep that hill was. We know how deep the water was. I mean, and then without YouTube,
Adventures with Purpose wouldn't even be involved in this
That's
case.
what I mean,
It wasn't
yeah.
the outcry of people like me covering this
Right.
case that provoked people like our audience to reach out to Adventures with Purpose to get
Right.
them on the scene. Not even on the scene, but on this. They're like, stop what they're doing, stop their other projects, and head out there for this brand new case, which they never covered.
Right. And then again, without YouTube, followers getting in an uproar, we wouldn't have found the laptop and all that, or would the police wouldn't have the laptop and all the other stuff. Because remember, I think it took over 4 hours for them to come out. And when they did come out, they said it was because YouTubers kept calling us, telling us, and
So let's talk about what a crime scene is, because this is what, she's saying, oh, well, he just handed it over to the parents. It doesn't matter. I don't care who the YouTuber handed it over to. It should not be in the father's hands. It should be in law enforcement hands.
Why wasn't there tape when he was
here?
Why
Let me just
wasn't
read
there
this.
tape? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Let me just read this. A crime scene is a physical scene anywhere that may provide potential evidence to an investigator. Very clear. Very, very, very clear. Potential evidence. That laptop may have no potential evidence, but they are required to take it because it might. And then it says it may include a person's body, any type of building, vehicles, places in open air, or objects found at those locations. Crime scene examinations therefore refer to an examination where forensic or scientific techniques are used to preserve and gather the physical evidence of a crime.
I don't know why there wasn't crime scene tape out there when the YouTuber came.
Yeah.
There's still stuff at the bottom of the lake. Why wasn't it a crime scene? Why was there never crime scene tape?
But you know what? In all fairness, in my opinions, was absolutely 100% hands down correct. That, people go out and throw out some salacious stuff like tampering with evidence when they have no earthly idea what the technical definition, the lawful definition of tampering with evidence is. And it's not going to an open, just because a place was a crime scene, as soon as those law enforcement are off that property and that crime scene tape comes down and it has been released, it is no longer a crime scene. You are no longer tampering with evidence. You're no longer obstructing justice. You're no longer doing any of that. I'm so sick of hearing that. We've heard that said about us multiple times. It's kind of crazy because I'm pretty sure, in my opinions, has said those very same things about Bullhorn Betty,
I followed that case and I've only met you recently, so I'm going to give you some shade and then some props. So I knew someone had found that cup. I knew of a cup. Right? So I go with you all the way back, like multiple cases. I just didn't know of your channel personally. And then I started watching you obviously a month or so ago when this started happening. And I almost couldn't watch you at first because, as I told you yesterday, I'm team never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I am too. So when I first started watching you, I was like, why is this chick going so easy on these kids and this mom and these locals? Like, did she not watch this? Did she not watch Sammy? Has she not seen Jagger? Like, what is happening? and you were just so kind and respectful, and I'm not jumping on the bandwagon. But as soon as Adventures with Purpose came out with that video, as soon as that poor child, she's a minor,
Yes.
was in the back seat of that car, then you were like, wait a minute. And now I got goosebumps because I also know you from know of you, but didn't know you who you were from a dirty laundry basket.
Mm-hmm.
I was Team Bullhorn Betty from the dirty laundry basket and the cup. Again, I didn't know you were. So then when you were so kind and so respectful and not allowing this community to like dig in and go in on these kids without like proof, without any sort of information. But then when you got information that led down a different path, you quickly
I switched
went
course,
down that path.
you know,
But
and new
still to
information
this
presented
day,
itself.
and still to this day, excuse me, I have a cold. Respectfully, you let my opinions, whoever that was, excuse me, come on and say all of that because you're just kind and respectful. So,
Yeah.
excuse me, Team Bullhorn Betty, and you're doing it. And thanks to everybody in this community that's doing it. And without us, we would not have found that poor girl.
You wouldn't. I really truly believe that in my heart and soul. And you know what? People can be mad at us for it, and that's fine. And we will continue to be, you know, the true crime industry of YouTube. I mean, at the end of the day, this is what it is. And I say, even on my chat rooms, like if your family or your emotion, these are not the places you need to be. Because my thing was out the gate was people not going to these kids' pages and not venting on their pages at them. I even told people here to come to, this is what these chat rooms are for on these pages, so you can vent. If you think something bad about Jagger or Sammy, you vent them here. You don't go on their page and accuse them of these horrible things. This is your outlet. And now she's condemning this outlet because all these people here saying their opinions could technically be on other people's pages stating those opinions. We're giving them a platform to vent without
being judged.
Some of them cross over, but you know, from the beginning, I've advocated like stay off the kids' page. This is the platform where you guys can vent here, not there.
Can I ask you one random question before I forget? Because I have been wanting to ask this. So the video at the very end of Adventures with Purpose, we're going on the premise that they're putting out a video to not only promote their page, but to speak what truth they knew that they could speak. Mm-hmm. We all know at the end of any TV show is a, what's it called? Cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the video, they look at some tire tracks towards the end. And to me, they look like the tire tracks. So it was either like a sad ending note or like a follow these tracks. We'll tell you more later. To me, they look like those the vehicle the dad drove up on. Do you have an opinion about those tracks? And am I just reading something?
I got a couple of them because I haven't talked with Adventures with Purpose about all of their clips in there. We have what's known when we do videos as B-roll. And some of those are just little things that are just kind of stuck in there. So we have voiceover time. And right. I don't know if that was a video from the tire tracks there at Prosser or if that was B-roll that was put in there to talk about tire tracks. You know what I'm saying? Like, were they those the specific? So that would be number one. But I did see a map that showed the actual tire tracks right into the water on the bank. So I think the tire tracks that we saw on that particular thing were her real tire tracks because it was like windy and then right into the water.
That breaks my heart.
Yeah.
That breaks my heart. Yeah, I've been wanting to ask that. You know, watch a lot of TV, and you're like, "That's a crazy."
I don't know if those were from that scene or if it was just B-roll. I don't know, but it could be either or.
Yeah, it felt heavy and heartbreaking. So the fact that they could be hers makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. All right, love. Thank you, Jamie, Pace, and Casey. Your device isn't connected. You need to accept the microphone and camera. Jamie, if you want to share. Huh?
Thanks for having me on, Betty. You take care. Team.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. I'm also going to get off here, too. The statement that was made just really upset me because I've seen so much time and effort put into this case on social media. I mean, I've watched thousands of
Thank you.
videos, and to somebody to make a comment like that about the social media world when they have worked tirelessly on this case to help this woman.
Yeah, I'm bringing you up.
Slap in the face. I greatly appreciate the time and work that you guys do. It's just greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hold on just one second. Jamie Pace, if you want to show me your face, I'll bring you up. Hi, Casey. And Brandy, thank you so much.
You too. Take care.
I can't. There you go. Okay, Jamie, I got you. I'm going to go ahead and bring you up now. If you want to turn your camera off. I'll wait until she turns the camera off. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring you up. There we go. All right, guys. How are you? We're going to start with Casey. How are you doing, Casey?
Awesome. How are you, Betty?
Good. And then Jamie, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Do I have to stay on the camera? I look like crap.
Fine.
I just woke up.
That's fine.
Okay.
Casey, how do you feel about all of this that's kind of going on?
Me? I think that my personal opinion is I've partied in the woods. I live in the woods, and I know it's different by a lake, but I feel something happened. I don't know if they got in a fight and something tragically happened, or she OD'd. But I think a bunch of teenagers were out there. Something bad happened. They panicked and put her in the back of the truck and pushed her in the water. And I know a lot of people don't, but to me, how else are you going to get through such a small space? It just doesn't all make sense at all.
Right. Yeah, there's not a whole lot that makes sense to me with this case, with what we know for fact. You know, a lot of the stuff is speculation, and it's speculative because we got some facts, and naturally our brains start working, and that's what we do. Jamie, what do you think about all of this?
Okay, so my thing is I just wanted to call because my father was found in the river deceased, and he was missing for 3 days, but with the autopsy and everything after, they think he was in the water less than 24 hours. Now, the river that he was found in was brackish water, so it part, saltwater, part fresh. I know that they were saying with the temperature of the water, which I live in Maine, and it was in Maine, it's cold water, I would assume up here, probably compared to down there. But I'm going through his autopsy, and within less than 24 hours, my father had already got slippage of he was found with his bottom up, like the picture, it shows like his bottom of his pants, like his backside, so his knees were down and elbows and everything, and he already had slippage. Now, when they recovered his body, they went down to the shoreline. They took him from the shore, put him right in a boat, carefully handled the body. The thing I have a hard time with is they flip the car over and they keep her in the back of the car. They're destroying her body. They're causing more injury. Yes, you can find out some things could have been after she died and things like that, but they're causing more damage to the body. Like, why would they not remove her from the vehicle inside the water? Why would they flip it and things like that? Like, I don't know, like in his autopsy, his skin was already very fragile, you know what I mean? And then also I have newspaper clippings of them scanning the whole area above, like he fell down an embankment and they found a shoe and stuff above ground. Like they scanned that whole area. And so like, if they found stuff in the water, why would they, when they get a call about it, why would they not, just like they did with you when you called about the laundry items that you found? You know what I mean? Like FBI was on it. Like, it just is so fishy, like so fishy. Like,
it's not even that, it's having to argue with them to take it. That's what people don't understand. Like,
it should be a non-negotiable
argument with the Northport police before the FBI stepped in and said, you guys need to collect this.
Now, Betty, okay, so you know a lot about that case. Now, do you remember, like, there was so much said about it, but I'm trying to remember, and I do have memory issues, so bear with me here. Was there speculation or anything said about the laundries having friends or something with law enforcement, or I don't
There
know.
was
I felt like I
speculation.
heard something about that.
Yeah, so with the laundries, there were, because they came from New York, there was a connection with some lawyers and some, prosecutors in New York, but not here in Florida. They owned a juicing company here in Florida. There was no real connection. Like they may, even with people, like I've got connections in law enforcement. I know my county sheriff personally, and
Yeah.
but if I did something wrong, trust me, that
Right. That's what
that doesn't really help.
I just was like, did they have a connection to people? And like these people, like they're saying there could have possibly been a son of a cop or sheriff there. And then like Sammy's parents being lawyers, like, you know what I'm saying?
And
Like,
this
is
is a
there a
small
connection?
town, and
Like
everybody knows everybody. Even according to, in my opinions, that was there. She acknowledged that. So in smaller towns, you've got more of a good old boy system than you would in a larger town. I mean, now there are still condensed. There's corruption in this idea that it's isolated to one area. It's isolated to big towns, big cities, small towns. It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
Everywhere. Everybody does their friends a solid. That's just it's not right, but it's everywhere.
No, but it's coming out more now that we have these shows like yours and stuff. Now that the little people are talking, it's getting out there more, and they don't know what to do with it, I think, because they're being blown out of the water for their actions. They're not doing things right.
And not only that, but we have a lot of online tools that they're not familiar with that we use, and things of that nature. But, with the law enforcement, I was talking about that yesterday. Is there potential for corruption here? Because many people believe this is going to be chalked up to an accident, which if it is chalked up to an accident, I will accept those findings for me personally without, causing a big ruckus, if they can explain how she got from the front seat to the back seat. And if they can explain that scientifically, then I can accept it. But if they are just trying to say it's an accident without any corroboration, I'm going to have a problem with that, because I can't figure out how she could have floated on, because the car was upside down. So when she filled with the gases, she would have risen. She would have been caught by the chairs, the upholstery inside that vehicle.
Yeah.
Not laying in the back hatch,
that's just weird. And especially with the windows that were either broken or half down, and it's just weird. I don't know,
because she's going to deal with a whole. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Is mom dealing with all of this the way she's dealing with it because of potential issues that she may have from like law enforcement attorneys and things of that nature. Clumsy, if you want to show me your face, and Rose Osmond, I can see you, Rose. Clumsy, if you want to show me your face, I'll bring you up as well.
Betty, I got a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
I seen you way back in the laundry case on TikTok, and I don't live very far from there, actually about 45 minutes. Do you really believe that he went out there and shot himself?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Well,
do you think that the gators ripped him apart, like the natural?
No, I don't. They have more boars out there than gators. So
broken or half down, and
hold on, you guys got to turn me down in your background. Sorry.
With this case now, the Kiely Rodni case, have you ever seen an investigation where they flip a car, they don't cover it, they don't steal anything, they don't document anything, they just flip the car and drag it out?
Honestly, I've watched vehicle recoveries before in law enforcement. There were measures taken, but they were, on Forensic Files or Joe Kenda, where they're dealing with a murder, an actual homicide, and they took different processes to deal with that. I think here, law enforcement just wasn't. I mean, I watched, and somebody pointed this out to me. I watched a detective reach his hand into the car through the broken window to turn the steering wheel, and exhibited no latex gloves on his hands whatsoever. Like, that's just inexcusable for me.
They didn't process anything. They didn't. I
don't think they documented anything underwater. I don't think they did. I think they were just happy that they found the damn car, and they just wanted to
drag it out and let's get it. And we got it, and we found her, and it's closed.
Not even thinking. This is the amateur hour of Nevada County, and whoever was involved in this extraction. This was a failure. Period. Ain't it simple?
Yeah.
They failed.
Yeah, bad.
So we've got Papa Bear, and we'll bring you up too. So let me see who's new here. So we got Rose. How are you doing, Rose? Oh, I got you muted. Hold on. Hopefully I'm turned off in the background. Hi, Rose.
Hello. Hey, I'm not used to getting on.
That's okay.
Yeah, I wanted to say I had a missing 16-year-old, and I wanted to talk about how parents act. So I live in a big city, and she was 16. She's 31 now. The police wouldn't help me. They said she's a runaway, and I knew she was in danger, so I had to go out myself. I had no one to help me, and her father's not in the picture. So this involved gang members, and I'm just telling you that to tell you that it was like a very serious thing that happened, but the police would not help. And now in these days, they are helping more, but not so much in big cities. I had to go out myself and get all the information from her friends. That's how I found out there were gang members involved. I ended up at their door, threatening to hurt their mothers if they didn't tell me where she's at, you know. I didn't sleep. 2 weeks. I didn't sleep. YouTube wasn't around, or I would have been begging for help because the police wouldn't have. If there were a group like AWP that would have came out and helped me, of course, she wasn't in the water. I would have been very thankful. I can't understand. She had the police involved. We're talking about Kiely. So she had the police involved, and then they couldn't find her. So that's where I would have been out myself. And if she didn't do that, I'm sorry, I'm getting so nervous. AWP came in. So like my level of gratitude would have been so much. They could have never done anything wrong. I don't understand where she's going with that. And then YouTube, I would have just loved. Back then, I didn't even know about YouTube, but I would have been on here begging to help. You know, begging, help me. And this is what I know. The police would have had to actually put me in jail to shut me up. So.
Always making the noise. Yeah, thank you. Make sure if you guys are on here, you guys turn me down in the background. I've had to mute a couple people because I could hear myself.
Yeah, I hope I'm getting across what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you are.
YouTube is a plus.
It is.
And when your child is missing,
sword. Let's make sure we're fair about the assessment. I mean, it is coming to YouTube is a double-edged sword. Because you know there are some people that do have wild accusations about things that happen, but you know overall I think the benefit is a positive. However, when something stinks to high heaven, bet your ass YouTube will be there.
I don't know. I would have been looking at it rationally and understanding that, and just looking toward those people that are trying to find her and find out what's going on now that she's been found. And if my daughter were found dead, I found her beat so badly and held against her will. I had evidence of that.
And how
I was calling in
time, and law enforcement didn't do anything?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I went out, and like I say, I was talking to the friends, and they would give me information. And at one point she was at a McDonald's and she was beat black and blue, and she wanted to leave with the friend, and the guy grabbed her and said no, and took her, and it was against her will. I even called police and told them this, and they still did nothing. I ended up finding her myself and having to take men with me to control the situation so I could get her.
We've had to do that before with some friends with their kids. So
no, I had to take some grown men, because this was a grown man that had her. I mean, he was 21, she was 16, and they looked at me and said,
I don't mean to cut you off, Rose. We got to be careful with what we say on here. But I got 3 other people that just came on, so I'm gonna give you just a couple minutes to wrap up your sentence.
Okay. Well, just I think that AWP is great. I think that what you do is great, and she should be thankful.
Mm-hmm. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Clumsy, if you want to, I think I muted you because I could hear myself in the background. Clumsy. Oh, hi, Clumsy. Oh, Clumsy just went off. Papa Bear, it's nice to see you. How are you doing?
I'm just waking up. Thank you for having me.
What do you think about this whole Kiely case?
You don't want my opinion.
Actually, I do. Keep it classy, but yes, I do.
Oh, well, I'm not drinking today, so I'll be classy. I think we're focusing on the kid a little too much. Yeah, I believe Sammy was there. She knows what happened. It's kind of strange because I don't have a YouTube channel. I'm not here for money and clicks and all that. I found you guys I was YouTubing Upchurch and he had a video out and then it got my attention. So I've been following this as it's been progressing.
Mm-hmm.
Has anybody checked the guy in the picture with the beanie hat?
I think that we've got a name for him. Yes.
Is he the same person that was missing the same day that Kiely came missing?
I don't believe so, but I'll have to look at it. I didn't know I've been asking if another person went missing in and around the time she did, and didn't get a response.
There was, and I checked yesterday, and the police have called off the search.
Do you know what that gentleman's name was?
There's nothing on it. It just says Truckee police called off search for male missing. Nope, there's no other information. And I was on another panel. I don't know if we have to say people, and they were going through the pictures of the car. And if I'm lying, I'm dying. I know there's things called matrixing or whatever it's called. Like we see something that's not there in pictures. Because I was in a car wreck and we went back and looked at the pictures of my car wreck and I saw faces in there and there was only 2 of us in the car. So I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm lying, I'm dying. They pointed out a very good point. There's another body in that car. I mean, I've got the goosebumps. I'm having nightmares because of this case. I cannot figure it. We had 2 girls. They were underage. One of them was found, I guess it'd be 12 years ago, and the other one was found 3 years ago, but they were right next to each other. Now, the cops shut down this whole town. The whole town was shut down. You couldn't, I mean, you could go to the store, things like that, but you could not get south of town to save your life. Turns out the same guy ended up killing both girls, and he was 18.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they handled this case, that was my 16-year-old daughter.
Mm-hmm.
There wouldn't be a fucking police department. Sorry, there wouldn't be a police department.
I'd be absolutely. I think a lot of people are furious about this. I know me personally, even though I'm keeping it cool and calm up here, I'm upset about this. This is a major issue.
Yeah, it's terrible. I feel for the family. Yeah, I watched the service yesterday, and it ain't my place to say how they're supposed to act.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I act different in different situations, especially when it comes to death.
Yeah. I would have been, I would, if it was somebody that I loved, I would probably be screaming at somebody. I have to be honest with you. I won't lie to you. I'd probably be yelling at a detective or an officer or something, whether, and that would be just me dealing with my grief in my way. But it wouldn't, I don't know how I could handle this. And I said from the very beginning, because the mom just seems too passive. She seems entirely too passive. And I said it from the beginning, if anybody's going to fight for Kiely and getting the truth, it's going to be her dad. And that's just, for me, it's my mom. my mom would go to the ends of earth fighting for me. She would never, if I wound up in a lake, my friends would be the first person my mom would be wanting to know what the hell happened. She wouldn't be, taking them in, hugging them and kissing them. She would be, if they were out there at that party, she would want to have them at the house, sitting down her dining table and telling her what the hell happened.
Exactly. That speech she made yesterday was weird. I guess at the funeral, the mom was talking, but she was just calm as could be. Did you see that?
But you know what? That could also be because when people are going through this, doctors give them sedatives. I mean, this is because I went through something similar, not like this, obviously, but I went through a death of a significant other, and I tell you what, they put me on Prozac for 6 months.
Listen, my mom lost 2 daughters.
Yeah.
One before she passed away, and she was devastated. My sister was like 46, and my mom lost her shit. Lost it. And she was not the same person afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that mother I'm not a mother, so I can't say that, but it just, if it were me, I'd be like, kids, what happened to my kid? You were there. Somebody knows something. Somebody tell me something. If it was an accident, ma'am, I screwed up. I'm sorry. Something for a peace of mind. But she just seems way too calm.
Yeah, but there could be explanations for that. It also could be that she, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors. She could have just, there's a point where you can cry yourself where you can't cry no more. You cried, so your tears are dried up.
Why isn't she more happy with AWP?
In all fairness, within my opinions, she did say some relevant things like I agree that mom grieves differently. But I also agree with myself when I say, when you come out and make a statement like that and paint YouTubers with such a broad brush over one person, that's going to probably get some backlash.
If it wasn't for YouTubers, they wouldn't have found her, honestly.
Exactly.
And she's so mad at AWP, and I don't know why. Them are great people.
I think it has to do with that SF Investigates, which I'm telling you, when I found out when he made a post and said he's going on now mind you, he is a private investigator. He's trying to tout himself as somebody legit. And he goes and says Baby Gap, of all people, is a respected YouTube source. Clearly, he didn't even do his own due diligence on the man that was going to go interview him. Total failure on the page. And not only that, he just lost any other credibility he had because he went on that channel.
Right. I haven't seen him.
So, I mean, he did his own problems. And if he's mad and trying to incite the family, it's not going to work because, at the end of the day, we respect the family, but the family is not who we're victim oriented. So, if we step on mom's toes, it may give somebody a sour taste in their mouth, but at the end of the day, she's not the victim. Her daughter is, and that's who we're advocating for.
Exactly.
If she wants to be part of it, great. But if she doesn't, we move on. We still continue to go down the road.
This is about Kiely.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if something ever happens to me, I want Bullhorn Betty to be on the case. F the police.
Exactly.
I find out what happened to me.
I want that too.
That's funny. You guys are cute. So let me just go through Jamie.
No.
I'm serious. I don't try to be cute.
I'm going to go around the room here. So Jamie, did you have anything to say about that?
I had a quick thing about the mom.
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay? Or
yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Is it true that Jagger was living with her? There's so much out there.
I think
just don't know what's true, what's not.
4 hours away. It's my understanding he came and stayed there after.
Okay,
Kylie
so he was just staying, like, for the night or something.
Purposes.
Right. Okay. Now, I heard something else too? Did the mother show up at the party, like briefly in the beginning or something?
I've been hearing rumors about that too. That her
because I'm like, did she drop? Because what I was thinking, I'm like, okay, so she seems like, and I'm not trying to pick on the mom, everybody. I'm really not. I'm digging everywhere. I'm like,
we have questions.
Okay, so is there a possibility she could have brought alcohol to the party? Is she closer to the teens than what? I mean, I try to be close to my kids, my kids, their teens and their friends and stuff, but I don't hang with them like that. You know what I mean? Like, I get nosy and I kind of get on, you know, I want to know what's going on and I'm friendly with them and stuff. And I'm like mom to all of them, but I don't party. I don't hang out like that with my kids. Like,
well,
you know,
I identified.
I don't know
early
if she
on-
brought alcohol. Like,
Yeah, I identified early on that it seemed like there was a friend. It wasn't a parental type of relationship between her and her daughter, that it was more of a friendship bond type of relationship. And the reason why I came to that conclusion is because there were some statements the mom made about her daughter's past drinking and being so open with that. Like my parents would have beat my ass.
yeah, me too.
You know, period.
Me too.
Like, you know,
Me
we
too.
dealt with corporal punishment, you know, in my generation. And my butt would have been whooped if I had drank and my parents knew about it. You just didn't do that. And you definitely, and if my parents had ever come to a party that I was at, the good news is even though I was a runaway and dealing with a lot of stuff as a child, I was not a partier, so to speak. I drank alone. I partied alone because I wanted to keep it from mom and dad, right? So, but with this, the mom and dad, the mom obviously knew that she was drinking or had partaked in drinking, and just didn't seem to have a problem, because she made the statement like, you know, I know she wouldn't have gotten behind the wheel because you know, I asked her to pick me up once before and she said she had been drinking. I'm thinking, if my mom called me and told me that I needed to come pick her up and I told her I couldn't because I was drinking, are you kidding me? I would lose my car.
I'd never leave the house again. I'd never leave the house again.
Right. Well, like I would be grounded for a flipping month. And so that's what led me to that I just want people to understand my thought process, why I got to that point with it. And I also said that there was something early on, you know, I even put the disclaimer, you know, I don't want to, you know, feel like I'm attacking mom, because that's not my intention here, but we are talking about this case. And I said, you know, I was curious as to what the mom's alcohol intake is on a consistent basis, because there was just something that she said that just, it made my light bulb go off. And I wondered if her mom had maybe drank heavily. Maybe not. Maybe she doesn't do that. I personally don't know, but there is something odd. It seems like dad is definitely the authoritarian, the strict parent, and it seems like mom's kind of loosey goosey. And in all fairness, that's the way it is out in the country. I don't want to, you know, people being, you know, it's different out there than it is, say, like, for example, my dad would never allow me to drive a vehicle in town at 5 years old. However, while we're at grandpa's house out there in the country, if I need to run up to the post office box, they throw me the keys.
Right.
So
now we got
in town and stuff. It's different. It's just country out back rows. Yeah. That's how we were when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always told by my doctor, you know, my counselor, he said, Jamie, to be a good parent, you can't be your child's best friend. There's the line. You have to be the parent first. You can be their friend, but you just can't be their best friend as a parent.
Yeah.
You just can't.
And we discussed that on
if
here.
You want to parent correctly, you know, it's very hard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just, I have a weird, and I'm not trying to pick on her. It's just as a mom.
I mean, we're seeing some things, and it's natural for us to want to have a conversation about them. And like I said, this is definitely not a chat room for anybody that's close to Kiely or anything like that. You know, we don't want to hurt people's feelings, but we also want to be able to discuss the case, because this is a case that is dominating.
Justice for Kiely.
Yeah.
This
and it's
poor
dominating.
girl is gone.
The idea that this is going to go away because the family's mourning is just, you know, it's wholly unfair to the community that worked so hard to find her. And I do understand the position of the parents, but, you know, again, this is, you know, mom's not the victim. Mom's still here. Mom's still able to talk. You know, it's her daughter.
It's weird that nobody had. I think it's weird nobody had contact info for the mom, but they did for the father, the grandfather, and she's out at a restaurant eating sushi, which I wouldn't be able to eat. I mean, I'm not judging. I guess that is kind of judging. I'm not trying to judge, but you're eating at a restaurant. I don't know, but
I want to say that's not normal.
Yeah.
We got to understand.
I would be a flipping mess. Maybe she couldn't cook that day. I get that part, but I couldn't sit at a restaurant and be normal and just, I'd be vomiting. I wouldn't be able to eat. I'd be.
Has some comments to make.
We got to understand. We don't know if she knew her child was missing at that time.
Yeah, no, this is the day they found her. She had been missing for a few weeks.
Oh, okay.
All right. But the problem,
like
what she was describing, Papa Bear, is that, you know, the father and the grandfather were right there because they knew Adventures with Purpose was there. You know, the Adventures with Purpose had apparently the father's side of the family's contact information. And I was thinking, you know, I thought it would be odd that mom knowing that this outfit was coming in wouldn't have at least gone down there and shook their hand and thanked them personally for taking their time out to come out there to look for her daughter, whether it was fruitful or not. You know, just that courtesy. But apparently something happened. Maybe it's because mom and dad don't get along. Like they could just, like she just wants to stay as far away from her ex-husband as possible. We don't know what the situation, we don't know. But yes, I would think that when you have a child missing, all that stuff, you know, all that pettiness is put to the wayside for the sake of your child. I hope that couldn't.
This case
keep me away from nothing.
No, this case has affected more than just the family. I mean, put yourself in Nick's shoes, the guy that found it. It's his first case. Imagine going around that car and seeing her face right here. I mean, he can't close. He'll never be able to close his eyes without seeing her face.
And he's a dad too.
And he's a dad, so you got to put yourself in that position.
Yeah.
I'm sure that guy has night tremor. I have night tremors. I got PTSD. I'm not going to tell you why or what about, but I still have nightmares, and I live by myself. It's, you know, I mean, so I've seen a lot of dead people. And I've seen that picture with the hoodie around Kiely's neck, and I'm going to call her by her name because she's Kiely. I'm not going to say her, she.
Yeah, we stand with Kiely.
Yeah, and I've seen that picture, and that girl was not alive in that one.
Yeah, it had to have been absolutely hard. It had to have been horrific to see. But, you know, it comes down to, you know, we're not, as human beings, we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes.
Right.
And, you know, if Adventures with Purpose didn't have her number, that's not really their fault. You know, they did reach out to family. And in all fairness, Dad and Grandpa were on scene. It's, you know, she had the opportunity to be there, you know, and I even told the audience here, I'm like, what if, you know, this was her only meal she had in a couple days, and maybe a friend was just trying to take her mind off of it and said, let's just go to your favorite restaurant. You'll feel better if we can just eat. We don't know what the situation as to why she was there. Me personally, if my child's missing, I'm not sitting anywhere. It's bagged lunches for me. I'm going to be where the search group is. That's just me personally.
The dad looked like he wanted to run out in the water and go get her. I mean, that would be my reaction. I'd be like, is she there? I've been in that water.
I feel so bad for her father being there, and I'm glad he took their advice and left. Like he was so thankful. He listened to Adventures with Purpose. He took off, and that was the best thing he could have done for himself mentally. But the fight's just beginning, because I truly believe something really bad happened there. And, you know, everybody's saying, well, what about what about her possibly ODing and stuff? And I get that. But I can get that's people, they OD every single day unintentionally. You know, kids that have tried something for the first time has the chance of losing their life just from that first time. So I get it. But the action of loading somebody up in a car and potentially sinking it into the bottom of the lake from it, that's the action I don't understand. That's the one that's most concerning to me if it truly happened that way.
Yeah.
Right. And we got to understand, Kiely was going to go to med school.
Yeah.
I don't think she would be stupid enough to OD on something. She's going to be a doctor.
And so it makes you wonder, did somebody spike her drink? Because we do have Jane Doe that came forward and talked about how heavily she was intoxicated at 11 o'clock. And no matter how we try to flip she was a small, you know, thin girl. She was younger, so she doesn't really have, like, say, the tolerance for alcohol that you or I would have. But it was awfully suspect that she was so heavily intoxicated by 11 o'clock at night. It just didn't make sense.
Where's the video of this drunk girl? I can't walk down to the liquor store without somebody videotaping me.
Yeah.
You know?
They do have them. But what happened is all the people out there we heard early on was using the Be Real app. And so how the Be Real app works is that it's not something like Facebook where you can just upload your photos and videos anytime you want to. It actually notifies you and your group of friends when you can take your photo, and you get an opportunity, 10 seconds to take that photo, and it goes to this Be Real app, and apparently it disappears. So
My
all
kids
these
do not have that app.
Yeah. So it was all these videos were on that Be Real app. So I'm pretty sure that they're going to have to get subpoenas from Be Real to get those because they're wiped clean by the program.
Right. Well, they can get Snapchat. You know, I mean, it's proven that.
And that's another one that disappears. Like I forgot to respond to my sister in like 2 days. Because I'm not used to Snapchat. And I didn't realize that if you only get the video or the whatever it is for like 24 hours and then it goes away. So like the whatever message my sister sent me yesterday, I have no idea because I didn't see it.
Right. Technology, you know, you and I are pretty much in the same age group. I'm a little bit older. Oh, I'm a lot older than you are, but we didn't have this stuff when we were kids.
No.
And I'm sure this went on when we were kids. We just were protected and didn't know about it. I lived out in the country, so if a cow died, it made big news. You know? But I, in my opinion, I think we're looking at the wrong people. I believe, yes, they know what happened. But just something in my gut says.
I brought that up yesterday. You're not too far from me because I even said yesterday, are we focusing too much on Sammy? And we're so laser focused on her that we've got our blinders on and aren't seen in our peripheral.
I got my hair is standing up on end. I got the chilly bumps because something down deep inside of me says, I just don't want to say it because I don't want to hurt anybody's toes or feelings. But
right. I know it's hard. It's hard. All right, hold on, Papa Bear. Let me get to Clumsy, and then I'm going to get to Crime Cabin. So, Clumsy, what do you think about the conversation so far?
All right, can you hear me? Okay.
I can.
Okay, awesome. I love your channel, by the way.
Thanks.
Okay, so I wanted to know, what did you think of that guy from SF Investigates, the PI, the private investigator, going rogue last night? Like totally going nuts on Zav Girl's channel.
What I didn't watch it, so can you just for the audience just give us a 30-second up to speed what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. There was quite a bit. He was also on another YouTuber's channel, but I don't remember the name. But
I know who it is. Don't say it.
Okay. Well, I don't even remember the name anyway, so it's not important.
Right.
But so he was on there and he was revealing pretty much what Adventures with Purpose, you know how they were saying they were going to have another episode coming out if the case went a certain direction. So he was kind of divulging what that information was going to be. And then he came out and said that, they asked the driver or the service worker, they asked him, hey, take a look at this picture of Jagger. And then I guess he confirmed it was Jagger.
I think it was Megs and Jagger. That's my personal opinion.
Oh, okay, because I think it was Kate, because the person that reached out to me said that they were communicating with Kate, not Mags.
Yeah, no, he said that they showed him the video or a photo of Jagger to confirm. And that, he was just like throwing AWP under the bus. It was insane. And then he was like talking about the case, saying, we already know it's pretty much an accident. We're just waiting on the final report from the people who like recreate the accident scenes and stuff like that. I don't know if it's the Highway Patrol that does that.
Yeah, the accidents are done by the Highway Patrol.
If it was an accident, then how come the Highway Patrol's not out there reenacting the crime?
I mean, I couldn't believe like how he was just like divulging all this stuff, and he was like, I know.
Really know. Do you honestly think that this crackpot PI actually has the inside phone number to the FBI and Nevada County, and Nevada County's just going to say, "Oh yeah, you're a PI, sure. Let me tell you all about this case."
I know. Well, I did feel bad him kind of divulging what, Adventures with Purpose was doing, and he was just like really trying to smear their name. And everyone that was on the panel last night was pretty much sticking up for him. But it was just crazy. He was trying to say it was 3 hours before anybody got a phone call from the family, and he has proof of it. I mean, he just went totally rogue.
This is my problem. Why is he so focused on who was called and when? Who gives a damn? I don't care. I don't care if mom was called. I don't give a damn. You know what? At the end of the day, Kiely was found. That's what I give a damn about.
Right.
Well, that was the consensus of all. Everyone was kind of saying, you know, why is everybody so angry with AWP? Like, everybody feels like there should be a sense of gratitude there.
Absolutely.
And,
I absolutely believe that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And you know what? We got to look at who's doing this. So we've got this PI that's trying to make a name for himself. He had his drones out there. You know, many people told him to take his drones over certain spots because it looked like something was in the water. He didn't do it. He you know, got buddy with the family. I don't think he was hired by the family. I think he was just out there when the family was out there, and he chummed up with them. That's what I honestly believe.
Trying to date mom.
And wiggled himself right on in there. The man, he outside of him putting out the drone footage and giving us a lay of the land, that was really spectacular, and he should have kept doing that. But then he started getting his pompousness and his ego in the way, and he was getting you know, his ego got a little bruised. And so now this is typical man stuff, right? You get your ego bruised. Now they're going after the people. The bottom line is he could not do what Adventures with Purpose did. And it's, you know, he's either jealous or insulted by it, but he just couldn't, he's not the cream that rises to the top. That's all I'm saying.
I think he thought he was going to get this big claim to fame by working this case, because
he's going to be a nobody soon, because he's not going to have anything past the Kiely Rodni case. Let him hold on to it. We, the community, can see through it. We, the community, love Adventures with Purpose. We, the community, will continue to support Adventures with Purpose. He's losing views daily. He's going on horrible channels. He's making a bad rap for himself. He's doing his own PR damage. I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah. You know, one thing I was surprised about, I didn't know that he was actually in the AWP footage when they found Kiely. His face was blurred out, though. I didn't know that he was with the family and stuff that day.
Yeah, as soon as he got with the family, he hasn't left the family side because he thought it was a meal ticket and it blew up in his face.
Yeah, well, he's just big on like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope this isn't true, because he's like, you know, everyone's gonna find out this is an accident, and everyone's gonna be all pissed off, and the whole internet's gonna have a cow.
He did the flip. He flip-flopped on his statement because he was the one that was going full force with this foul play scenario. Now he's saying it's an accident, and when it comes out to be foul play, he just killed his entire career. He should have kept his mouth shut.
I think even if they come out and say it was an accident, I think the father's going to let the community know, hey, this is exactly what happened. Because since they are minors, and mom's being the way she is, I think she might have the case sealed. But dad's going to know it all.
I looked into it. They're not going to be able to keep all this stuff out of the public eye.
No, I don't think they are either. Well, he's kind of hiding behind the grandpa and the dad. He's like, you know, this family needs to grieve, and you got people on here saying that the Kiely's not real and this and that. He's like, you know, and Adventures with Purpose just needs to acknowledge what they did to the family. If they would acknowledge it, everything would be fine.
Yeah, but him coming out and keep stirring the pot. Why doesn't he acknowledge what he's doing to the family?
I know.
Okay, because he's the one driving this narrative. He's the one that's keeping this conversation up. So if he really respected the family in the grand scheme of things, SF would shut his mouth and let this proceed the way it's going to proceed.
Right.
But he's the one that's driving this narrative. He's the one that's keeping people, you know, going after Adventures with Purpose. It's going to turn around on him because people are going to have enough, and they're going to start blowing up his crap because of what he's stirring up, and then he's not going to know how to handle it. Right. So he just, in my opinion, just needs to chill because he's so busy pointing the finger at everybody else. He's failing to see his own part in all the drama that's being created, and it's being created by him.
And I'm going to insert something. The gentleman that said that she's not real, you have to go and see the meaning behind that video.
Oh, I know. Well, that's just, you know, Ryan, he just
brought out more stuff. I mean, it brought out a lot
Mhm.
more stuff with him saying that.
Well, Ryan was on the panel talking to him too last night. It was kind of funny, the questions Ryan was asking him.
Take no shit. I'm
He kept
sorry.
making the funniest faces at him too, and it's like I was sitting there busting up laughing.
It's so funny to me because I don't know Ryan. I don't know this. I don't know him. I like his music, but when he came on here, it started out rough. But there was a part about him just dealing with me and not allowing us to kind of work through that awkwardness and sticking with it until we got to the other side of it. But I've talked to him several times since, and I've got to tell you, I really like his personality, but he is one.
He's smart.
Similar where he doesn't mind telling you to go F off.
No, he don't.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't sugarcoat it at all.
But I love the personality because it takes. Trust me, it takes thick skin to be up here, and if you don't, know how
it does.
To tell people no or tell people to F off, you don't have a place. You shouldn't be here.
Right. And you know what? I think at the end of the day, he really does care. He really is invested and cares about Kiely and the case and all of that.
I think we all care. That's why we're here. I mean,
yep, exactly.
He would have set his neck out. Nobody that has millions of dollars, 2.3 or 2 to 3 million followers is going to stick their neck out on a case that they don't believe in. They're that they don't want to help in. They're not going to take that kind of everything, especially with business or anything. You have to look at the risk and the reward. Does the risk outweigh the reward? Does the reward outweigh the risk? That's kind of how people in business make business decisions. And in the grand scheme of things, Ryan Upchurch is a business. His name is a business. He had to evaluate the risk and reward before he came out, and he did. And he came out anyways. So I have to say that he cares a lot.
Right. And it's funny that he's the only celebrity, and he is a celebrity. He may be a YouTuber, but he's a celebrity. Is all in this case. He's the only one.
Yeah, and Adventures with Purpose. They're calling bullshit too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it seems like
when Nick came up, that was real raw emotion on that gentleman's face. That was not acting. I mean,
that wasn't a take two. That was a take one.
Oh yeah. I totally agree.
Acting, he needs to be in Hollywood because I'm telling you, that was straight up.
He doesn't look like the actor to me. He doesn't look like the stellar actor. Nick just doesn't seem like that. I mean, even when he's pulling a JLR, he doesn't even pull JLR that well, right? I mean, he's like, it's like, oh, we need to have you train with JLR. If you're gonna do the signs, you're gonna have to do it right. I'm sorry, you're not JLR enough. No, I'm just joking.
All of them seem extremely humble.
If that's my daughter they found, I'd be on every news giving them props, saying if it wasn't for these people, we'd still be wondering what happened to my daughter.
I'm curious as to what how the father feels. One, about all of this, and two, about how his ex-wife or ex-girl, whatever their situation was, how he feels about how she's handling this. I'm just curious about his perspective. I doubt I'll ever get it. I doubt I'll ever get it.
I'd love to have him on here. Betty, you ought to reach out to him, see if he'd come on and talk to us.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for everything, and everybody knows I'm very strategic and stuff like that. And this is just.
I know your wheels are turning. I know that. I know your wheels are turning. I can see on your face that you're.
It will be, soon. I just want to let the dust settle, and I do, believe it or not, even though we discuss some things that people don't like on here, I do. Me, Bullhorn Betty, if you're listening, in my opinions. Respect the family and do my part, responsibly. However,
I think she knows more than
with her this morning was to let her know, I still follow the law and I will do everything within the law that I'm allowed to do if I so choose to. And nobody's going to change my mind about that. If people, are very opinionated and don't like it, guess what? They'll let me know. So what? I have to own what I do. Nobody else has to own what Bullhorn Betty does besides Bullhorn Betty.
Totally.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
I want to say that I'm sorry if I said anything wrong.
Oh, no, you didn't.
I just want to say that I may not be speaking right. I'm so nervous, and it's trauma, even talking about it. But when a child goes missing, it's trauma. So there's fight or flight.
Yeah.
So I didn't fight. So if a parent is like, they just go numb or just can't handle it, then there's where you would be the flight, and then maybe medicine would be involved to help you. You might be laying down, not able to move. And then there might be the other cases where the parents don't care and then they don't feel anything, I guess. But I wanted to say that, well, I'm not sure how to say it. I wouldn't be paying attention to the negative stuff on YouTube. After she's been found, I would be thankful. And the only way I would be calm is if I were told what happened and I believed what happened. And she said, we got this. So what does that mean? She believes what happened. She's calm about it. I mean, she's grieving, but she's satisfied. She's not in the fight or flight mode.
I believe they know everything. I mean, I believe the police have been in contact.
She has to know or feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But it's not towards her or anything like that. But anything bad, I don't want to. She's grieving. I don't want to say anything wrong, but I was numb when my mom died, and I was able to give her service very calmly. It was later on that I collapsed, but so I can understand that too. But actions speak louder than words, and she did say some words that where her focus is that I would not have been focusing. Like, I would have been very thankful, and I'm not real sure that I would have been protecting all the kids. I might have come out and said, this person didn't have anything to do with it, because I know for a fact, like I had to have seen them or known, but I didn't mean anything negative.
You're good.
But
You're good.
what a parent feels, like, I'm watching these missing kids and I don't see some things that should be normal. I'm not just speaking of this case.
Right. Yeah.
So I'll just leave it at that. I didn't want to, I went into a trauma mode when I was talking to you.
Yeah, I had to. Because it can be triggering for the people in the audience.
But I haven't stopped watching, and with Summer Wells, that's where my family's from down there. So that started this with me, and I can't stop. Even though I do take breaks and try not to get so emotional.
Okay, let me get to Salty. Salty?
Good
Sorry
morning.
about that. I know you've been waiting for a little minute. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Glad you're on. I just finished watching you in Chronicles, and somebody had come on talking about if this was an accident, would people leave it alone? I don't think the police can call it an accident and be like 100% on that. By the way, they took that car out of the water. They're not the right anymore. They lost the right to that.
Yeah.
They left evidence behind. There's always room for a possibility of something else if you leave evidence at the bottom of a lake. It's evidence. It's a crime scene. Whether she drove herself in that water or not, it's still a crime scene. AWP says that. Even when they know that somebody may have intentionally self-harmed themselves, they still consider it a crime scene 20 years later. So they gave up that right. They gave up that right to call it an accident, in my opinion. So I just wanted to say that video at Chronicles was awesome. I believe what that girl was saying. I just think she didn't see everything because she left.
Yeah, she left and she stayed to herself at the party because she basically described it as pretty overwhelming when she was there. And that was only half the people, you know, by the time she left, she said there was only about 200 people. We know that party grew twice that size throughout the
Doug had said that up to 400.
Yeah.
From AWP. So, and when I was younger, I've been to parties that big. I know people are saying it can't be that big. That's not true. I grew up in the sticks in a log cabin way out.
Believe me, there's not a whole lot to do. A party at a campground is
in the woods. We would have keggers, people dropping acid and mescaline. Yeah. So I'm aging myself. I'm almost 50 years old, you know, but that's what we did.
Yeah.
You know, getting stoned, you know, and the only time we would run if we found out, because we had friends, we didn't even have a police department where I lived, that we'd have to call the court sheriff if there was a problem. Out in Exeter, Rhode Island, I'll say where it was. It's up now, but back in the day it wasn't. So we had friends who were relatives, all said police, sheriff, etc. We would know if they were coming, like the state cops, and we would jet. That was the only time we would take off. You know,
I was surprised. Let me ask, because I know Crime Cabin hasn't talked for a little minute. Let me ask Crime Cabin this. You know, how do you feel about law enforcement? You know, this is a party that happens in law enforcement quite, you know, where there's this party at Prosser Campground every single year, this time of the year, as they say goodbye to the seniors. And how do you feel that, you know, that they've always had about 100 and 150 people out there, but law enforcement, you know, park patrol, nobody just did little drive-throughs to make sure everybody was just being safe. You don't have to arrest people. You know, law enforcement has you know, they can look the other way. They have a lot of authority and, you know, a lot of discretion and things of that nature. But I just found it odd that every year they have this party, but this year not one person just circled just to make sure everybody was doing good.
I have a few other comments I want to make just with respect to Papa Bear and stuff, but I think they partied. I think they're a very tight community. And I think, you know, I'm an outdoorsy girl. I identify with Mom to a certain extent. I'm a spiritual, you know, peace loving kind of, you know, hippie in the country kind of girl. So I understand that. And I think they've probably been very loose with their kids, as I was with my two daughters. We spoke openly about drugs. I come from the school where my dad made me smoke a cigar and I threw up when I was 12, so I'd never smoke. Yeah. But that didn't work for me. And I kind of went a little haywire. So I think they're a community that talk openly about it and they allow it. And I don't necessarily agree with it, but I think the sheriff's kids and the law enforcement kids all party together. So that's just one thing they turned a blind eye on. But what I find kind of a little weird is they were all about the media when they were looking to find her, and then they went silent. Who's asking them to go silent? Why are they going silent when they were looking to us and the community world at large to find her? Mm-hmm. And then the minute they find her, they go silent. That is just bizarre for me. That's I think a bunch of parents that were there and enabling it. And if this is I can see in that community, and I'm sorry if I'm speaking so loud, I have a really loud voice. I can see in that community where they would get together, where the parents would come, they'd make it an afternoon sort of ceremony, you down by the lake, a few drinks, and then the parents take off and let the kids continue on. And never did in their life did they suspect something like this would happen. And now they're all kind of liable because they all rallied together before. But I also want to just throw out a breadcrumb trail that just doesn't sit with me. And it's something that Papa Bear said, and we saw about the second body, somebody zooming in. I have a weird theory. What if it was the tow truck driver that killed them? And that's just his defense. And they were running from him on camera because he's the one that scared them. And there was 2 bodies in that car.
It could be possible. We don't have enough information one way or another.
It's just
what's that?
She just blew my mind.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons why we have the open panel, because we can bounce, theories and perspectives off each other, because we never know, and it might give us another avenue to look into. But I was a little upset that, they're out, that law enforcement's out, in the public eye saying, hey, we're not going to be arresting people on these petty drug offenses, these underage stuff. We're not going to arrest you guys on this. We just need you guys to come forward and talk. And all the while, under our nose, and people in Truckee may know about it, but us over here in Florida and around the country don't know about it. But they're throwing these kids in jail. There's no way to get kids to talk when you're throwing their friends in jail for petty drug offenses.
Well, Betty, if I could just say this too, I believe, listen, I heard you say this, and I had just been saying it to my husband. These young adults, the only child we're talking about here is Kiely. She's the only one that was a child. Mm-hmm. I mean, my oldest is 27, but she's still my child, but she's an adult. She's an adult to you. You know what I'm saying? But she's my baby. They were contributing to the delinquency of a minor. They're adults. And in this country, when you do that, you face adult consequences.
Yeah.
It's not a game.
When somebody
lost their life. Somebody lost their life. This isn't a joke. She didn't, just get in a little car accident, whatever. If you believe it's an accident, I do not. I do not believe it was an accident. 100% based on the fact where she was found in that car. Yeah. I have an SUV. If you flip it upside down in water, you're not floating. Gravity doesn't work that way. It doesn't. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work. No matter how you look at it, it doesn't work. There's no way she got back there the way they found her. The fact that AWP have seen bodies in cars and they found this to be suspicious. Why this?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, they, people know what happened. Mm-hmm. I believe, but they're being told by their lawyer and law enforcement family members to not talk, to save their own asses. These kids do not live the way our kids live. They don't. I was looking at one video, I was looking at their vehicles. We're talking about $65,000 truck. Yeah. And I'm like, no, my daughter had a beater. You know what I mean? Like a junk.
Yeah. Well, when you hear one of the Jane Doe talking about, I don't drink, but I'll drink in Spain, that kind of gives you a little perspective on, the lifestyle that they have. Like, I've never been to Spain, let alone drink in Spain,
Yes,
and
that's what me and my husband heard you say that, and we were
teenager has been around the world, and Bullhorn Betty's still sitting in Florida.
Exactly. Yeah, we're still, my husband has a good job. I mean, he's a former combat Marine, but he's a master electrician. We still live week to week. Mm-hmm. So I've never been to Spain. I'm almost 50 years old. Yeah. I mean, I've traveled within my country. I've never left my country. Yeah. My husband has due to the military, but I'm like, yeah, we were cracking up when you had said that on Chronicles. I'm like, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. These children,
they live a great lifestyle. I mean, kudos to them, because, people that come from money will generally stay with money, and, surround themselves with people that are, so this is all good for the kids. They're going to have a good life when they become an adult. They're going to be, productive members, but it's just still a lifestyle that many of us will never know. And it in and of itself is curious for us. But listen, guys, we're over 2 hours. I've got in my opinions in the backstage. I'm going to go ahead and remove the 5 of you. I'm going to bring her up and let her have final words, and then we're just going to kind of shut down. I'm kind of done with everything we're going to talk about today. It's Sunday. I want you guys to go out and enjoy your day. Bullhorn Betty's got a lot of studying to do to make sure everything's all right. So thank you, everybody that was on panel. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your perspective.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betty.
Thank you. I'll email you. Thank you so much for letting me.
Thank you, Betty.
Have a blessed day, Betty.
Thank you.
You too. All right. So, in my opinions, come on up.
Blessed day, Betty. Thank you.
You too. All right. So, you're gonna have to turn down your background.
Blessed day, Betty. Thank you.
Hi, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, because I can't. Pardon?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Are there two?
You're gonna have to turn me down to your background. You got two on, and it's gonna be lag.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so I can't hear you because I turned you down. I'm lame. But I just wanted to explain for a minute. A lot of people talking about why aren't there a lot of cameras out at the campgrounds? Why aren't there cameras on the highways and stuff about the cell service? These small towns multiply like 3 to 4 times the amount of people that live in the town on any given weekend in the summer. So there is a lack of cell service. There is a lack of any of that kind of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So you can't like have all these cameras on the highways because there's no service to even upload them.
Right. And people don't understand that. And that's common in more wide open or desolate. Yeah, I don't want to call it a desolate area because it is a hustling, bustling area, but it's kind of remote, I guess is the better.
And when that many people come up, it sucks all the cell service. I live on the south shore of Tahoe. Mm-hmm. And every holiday weekend, you barely can get service or texts through sometimes because so many people, like millions of people, come up a year that don't live here. So there could be a lot of lapse in communication because they can't get through. There's not a lot of police and sheriffs to patrol the town of, like, let's say it's 30,000 people and it goes up to 80,000 people in a weekend. There's not enough officers to patrol everything.
Right. Yeah. And not only that, but like, I mean, this area is much more up to date than, say, like Moab, Utah. When we went to Moab, Utah, Correct. It was literally like stepping back 30, 40, almost 50 years. Like, I think they have the only Radio Shack left in the United States of America. And they had payphones.
Correct. It's just so you guys, a lot of people just don't understand how many people come up and visit this area. It's a very touristy area. And for instance, on the South Shore, we only have maybe 4 or 5 officers working a day to patrol all of South Lake Tahoe, which is 25,000 people, but it bumps up to 40 to 80,000 people on given holidays, etc. So there really isn't any service. For all the people wondering, where are all the cameras? Why don't they have cameras at those reservoirs, etc.? There's literally no service.
Yeah. And not only that, but these parks really don't have them. I'm dealing with it with another case here in Florida, same way here. And this is in the area that she went missing in, was a hustling and bustling area. They have money for the cameras and they still don't have cameras out there. So
right. And this is, a lot of the stuff's on federal land. So you have to remember federal land is a little bit different than your county and your city, etc. That's why there's so many agencies involved with the case as well.
Right.
And a real quick thing about the live lake time guy that was talking about, the monies. It's like a big conspiracy with the county to get money from the federal government. That dude has no idea about these fires and how quickly they erupt, and the terrain around these areas where these fires are. They can't get the helicopters and the planes that they just purchased down to blast the fire because of the smoke or the wind or the weather created by these fires. I know it's a little off subject, but
I mean, you guys have your own natural stuff that you have to deal with. We deal with hurricanes and water spouts here in Florida. You guys deal with wildfires and earthquakes there, so it kind of sucks.
So just the fact is that him saying that the whole state is sucking the government dry with all these fires and all this equipment. If anybody has ever been to Northern California or Southern California to see what is going on and how dry and drought we are in, they would understand. You can't get out there. So this mosquito fire that's been going on, they've been trying to evacuate the people that live on those small logging roads. There's lots of trees and stuff around this area. So they can't just immediately pop up fire crews and things. It's dangerous. It's safety issues, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I know.
And you never know which way the wind's going to blow or take the fire too. You could be, that's how a lot of firemen have lost their lives. They're fighting the fire and it takes a turn.
Well, and all I have to tell people is look up the Caldor fire from last year, see how long it burnt, see how far it spread and how quickly, and they couldn't get resources in. I live here. I know. But anyways, I know it's off subject, but again, thank you for allowing me up, and everybody have a great day.
You too. God bless you.
You too.
All right, guys. So we're just going to go ahead and wrap it up. What a great conversation. Again, we've got the whole evidence, washing up ashore, what do we do? Where do we go from here? Have we lost confidence in law enforcement out there on this case? These are valid questions that we have, especially with the handling of this crime scene, because let's face it, this is a crime scene until it's determined that it's not. And it didn't appear that they were handling this case like it was a crime, or handling the extraction or the other belongings as a crime scene or tangible evidence to an alleged crime, a potential crime. So we went through that. We went through the evidence. We had a lot of people on here. There was some, little, not a heated debate, but, a little tense debate on here, with some of the, with the parents and stuff like that. And I understand. Don't think I don't get it. I don't think I don't get it. I get it. It's just that, it's my job. It's my job to step on toes. That's what I do, and I do it well. No, just joking. Don't beat me up, in my opinions. Don't beat me up. But anyways, it was a great conversation. And to be honest with you, in my opinions, I'm glad I got a chance to talk to you. I'm not a bad person. I hope you find that out. And I know we disagree quite a bit, and that's okay. We can disagree and still get along. So with that being said, guys, I just want to tell you guys all thank you for spending over 2 hours with Bullhorn Betty and the mods. And I hope you guys, it seems like the chat gets a little crazy here and there, by the volume. But for the most part, it seems like you guys are doing really good and, being, semi-respectful. But if you're not, that's what we have mods for. So they'll put you in timeout. Anyways, guys, it was great seeing you guys. Have a wonderful Sunday. God bless each and every one of you. Please don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Good day.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.